Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. The concept of doing exactly what we want to do. The concept of if there were no heaven. Now, setting the foundation here of future benefit. I'm not telling you to go spend all your money and not have a future savings. The foundation of this message is built upon the fact that we already value input and output. We already value a long-term return. We already value having future profit. But with that being said, the common line theme here, whether you're an entrepreneur, young athlete, a parent, any type of relationship, the relationship with yourself, which is very primary. It's a powerful thing to get to the point in life where you like what you like. And you don't have to explain yourself to everyone else to try to justify this is why I like what I like. Just like what you like. We deal with a lot of mental obstacles in a social media driven world. So, case in point, let's take a 27-year-old, let's just say it's a smart, attractive female, just graduated from graduate school, has money in the account, has a nice condo somewhere, and it's Friday, and she just wants to go home and make mac and cheese and watch a TV show. But the crazy thing in our society is you would have some group saying, "Oh, it's time for you to get married," and blah blah blah, and having that type of conversation. Then you got probably where she's getting most of her present social communication on that particular day. Let's say it's a Friday, right? And they're saying, "Hey, why don't you come out with us? We got this going on, that going on," and it almost becomes like, oh, like I need to have something wrong with me, like I need to be sick, or I need to be able to like have some type of justification just to be able to go home, eat what you want and watch what you want, and not like do what would be like socially maybe expected, maybe not expected, but the desirable thing to do in the society or your friends group eyes. Like, that's an empowering thing for you to be able to do exactly what you want to do. Yeah, if you want to go out, go out. But if you don't want to, don't feel like you gotta like explain it, like do your thing. Be you, be true to the value system that's inside of you. When we talk about this concept also, it's like having a cup of coffee in the morning. I love having coffee. There's nothing better than having coffee at home with my parents. I mean, if I could live my life, I would be happy all the time. If I lived my life the way that, my parents treat their first cup of coffee in the morning. There's value in that first cup of coffee. Sitting there, being with the ones you love, taking it in the morning slow. It's a beautiful thing to get to the point in life where you can appreciate the journey, appreciate the things in life that make it special. That's when you walk by a rose bush, and even if you thought it smelled good before, you're like, whew, man, that smells really good. It's because your value system is elevated and all the social parameters are being, disabled. When you walk up the sidewalk downtown and you're constantly being filled with social parameters of what you should do and not do. And I'm not talking about not having manners or not conducting yourself well, but the flood of social media advances and all these things and sometimes you just gotta walk down the sidewalk, look exactly how you want to look, talk exactly how you want to work. You know, if you don't want to talk to anyone, don't talk to anyone. But you can't always spend all your energy on social parameters or making judgment calls or reasonings like why I'm not doing this or why I'm not doing that. Just be you. Just be happy with that. Do your thing. You know, going back to if there were no heaven. Oftentimes, there's this concept, well, don't lie because you want to go to heaven. You know, like if you think back to like some like maybe early, you know, thoughts that you had as like a person of faith, you might think, well, you know, you don't do this because it says not to, or you don't do this because you don't want to go to hell, or you don't want to do this because you do want to go to heaven, or and I'm not again negating that. Assuming that foundation is there of value and concept of, you know, long-term realities, you know, life is just better even if there were no heaven. So let's just say I'm making good decisions about my life because I'm looking for a future return on that investment. I'm here to tell you today so that you can have a further releasing of peace and fulfillment and joy in your journey, that look, like, let's just take for a moment that there is no heaven. What is the value of you making healthy choices right now? For example, you know, you probably heard this, like if I'm gonna sit here and just lie all day or not lie because I want to go to heaven, think of this. What's the value of me not lying just right now? There's one. You probably heard it before. I don't got to remember what I said because I didn't lie. I don't have to cover myself up. I don't have to see, you know, worry about something coming back to me. You know, what's another concept? Yeah, okay. Let's take, you know, adultery, right? Oh, I don't, you know, someone might say, I don't want to have adultery because I want to go to heaven. Okay. But how about just peace in your home? How about just like, you know, let's go back to the 10 Commandments. If someone says, hey, don't do that because you want to go to heaven or hell or something like that, like, there's value in the present for healthy decisions. Like, you know, it feels better to go home to a home of peace and continuity than to have, you know, the stress of secrecy in your life. I don't know, you could go down like a laundry list of concepts, and what I'm trying to say is when you take healthy decisions, like for me, I could probably go out, it's a Thursday right now, I could probably go do anything I wanted right now. Let's see, the kids are in school, you know, I don't have any boss breathing down my neck. I mean, what could I do? I mean, think of all the things you could do. Could you just go get hammered? Could you just go get hell-bent drunk and intoxicated with drugs? I mean, but, you know, do I want to enjoy my coffee in the morning? Or do I want to have a headache the next morning? Like, we have to make healthy decisions because it adds value to our current life. Like right now, let's take it on a social parameter. I could go and, you know, think of 10, 15, 20 social type obligations to do, but, you know, and they might be even expected of me on some level, but, you know, if I want to sit here and have a cup of coffee and read a book for an hour, then do it, you know? Feel good about the value system of your own decisions. What I'm trying to say ultimately is, who cares about all the social obligations and expectations and these mental things that are most often built up in our own heads or built up from images and illusions? You know, when we get to the concrete portion of it and we're making just healthy lives for ourselves, living out our life in a way that makes sense and that's peaceable, you know, again, you don't have to feel like you're putting all your eggs in a basket for the future. To have consistency, healthy decisions, a healthy lifestyle in the present, like, here's the thing. Most of us are like so full of roller coasters in life. And I get that happens. But, you know, I'm reminded of a passage when Jesus came to earth, he said, I'm going to make, the hills flat, the valleys full. And I always think of, man, that consistency. It's like, let's stay on the spiritual concept for a second. Here's Sunday with God, and here's 6 days, of everything else. No, if I'm not esteeming any day above the other, there's a consistency of my life that's day in and day out, and that's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it powerful relationships, friendships, marriages, parenting relationships, because you're not just event-based. You're not just Friday night-based, Sunday morning-based, Wednesday-based, Monday afternoon-based, certain significant events. I love it because me and my kids, we're full of small little traditions. I love little traditions. I love events, going to do stuff. Like we are always doing something, always. But the real joy and the memories are created in the value system of the dots that are being connected in between, the flow in between these events, the consistency of practice, the consistency of flow. And there used to be this example about a river, and if you don't have banks on a river, it becomes a marsh, it becomes a swamp. So when we order our lives and we have some principles that we establish in our lives, that brings a health. And yes, a river will eventually flow into the ocean. So yes, you're going to have, if you save 2 pennies now, you'll be glad that you had those 2 pennies a year from now or 20 years from now. There's going to be eventual long-term profit, but in the internal, it feels much better to float down a raft on a nice clean river than some swamp marsh getting stuck in the mud, that is stressful. That's not even vacation. So I'm just saying we can do ourselves a favor, no matter what field of life that we're in, is, allowing ourselves to just live a consistent life, valuing our healthy decisions, not because some eternal end game, but because peace feels good to have 24/7. Feels good. No matter what you believe or whatever, not even diving into that, I think the value system of us realizing that we're an internal being is powerful. However you're perceiving that right now while you're listening to that, it's a powerful thing to be able to find our temperament in life and to have that consistency. I encourage you, if you got some free time coming up, yes, we all know we got obligations, we got responsibilities. But when you do have some things that, when you really look down to it, like, is that an obligation? Like, do you really have to go to that function? Like, do you really want to? Would you just want to stay at home? Or do you want to go to that function? Do exactly what you want to do. Don't be bombarded by everyone else's expectations of you. Do exactly what you want to do. If you trust your value system, trust the internal intent of your heart, just value your cup of coffee in the morning. Value a little cup of sleepy time tea at night, or whatever you like to do. These small little things, these streams of life that we have. So yeah, there's great things in the future, but I just want to encourage you. Our decision making, when we have a life of consistency and health, and not bombarded by illusions of the social world. If there's no eternal long game consequence either way, it just feels better to be healthy, to be consistent, to have a life that flows. So really pumped up for the message tomorrow. Stay tuned. We appreciate you, and enjoy your coffee this morning.